Hello, Facebook. I hope you're having a beautiful night or day or afternoon, wherever it is in your part of the world. Welcome to my channel. This is my series, My Life as a Rock Fan. This is the final installment in that series. Today I'm going to be talking about my current fandom with the rock band Scorpions. The other bands that I profiled in this series have been past fandoms that are pretty much on hold, or maybe they could be revived at any time. But for the most part, I've put them aside and they're kind of stopped and not moving forward. But this for the Scorps is ongoing as we speak. Been a fan now for almost 2 years. 2 years as of this July. That's what I'll be talking about in this video. How I got started as a Scorps fan, and then followed by some comments about some thoughts on how things have been going and what I'm hoping for the future. So, los geht's, as we say in German. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, and as you've been watching my videos all this time, you know I have notes. I keep them on the counter next to me, so if you see me looking off camera, I'm looking at my notes. I haven't quite fine-tuned my setup here on my kitchen, so it's kind of awkward. I'm working out the kinks now. So, all right, let's go. I first discovered the Scorpions through their 1990 hit song "Wind of Change." I was working in a grocery store in my hometown, and we were going to a conference or a meeting at the corporate headquarters for the grocery chain. We've been invited by our local store, so it was about an hour or 2 hours away, and so we carpooled, and I don't know if I was driving or somebody else was driving. I don't think I was driving. Something like that, going to Orlando and back, I probably would have not been the driver. So, but anyway, we were in the car in the parking lot getting ready to leave, and then the car radio was playing this song, "Wind of Change." Now, I didn't know what the name of the song was or who the band was. It was just playing. So all I heard was "Wind of Change, Wind of Change, Wind of Change." That's all I knew about it, but I liked it. And then, of course, we got on the road and just started out the brief little snippet of one song in 1990. And incidentally, for not to get ahead of myself again, but I always do that, the album that song came from, Crazy World, dropped in 1990, which is why that song was on heavy rotation on the radio. Fun fact. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Back to the story. Fast forward to June 2023. For some reason, I don't remember what it was that got that song back in my head. I remembered it. Oh yeah, that song that I heard in the Goodings parking lot when we were on the way to the Altamont Springs. So the only words I knew from it were "Wind of Change." So I went onto YouTube and I typed in the search field "Wind of Change rock song," and the video came up. Oh, okay, and then I just heard that little bit, "Wind of Change," but then I heard the rest of it. I like this. Oh, who's this by Scorpions? I remember the Scorpions, yes, because I had seen them, and again, I had brief snapshot memories of them from MTV in the mid-'80s when they had their hit song "Rock You Like a Hurricane" in the corresponding video, which is equally as famous, if not more, than the song. That's the one where the band members are in the cage surrounded by the fans, and fans are pushing the gate, and the band's in the middle of the cage. Yeah, that one. So, oh yeah, Scorpions, I remember them. They were German. I knew that. So I already had some knowledge of them. But, anyway, a brief aside here. In my previous video about Stryper, my Stryper fandom and my Scorpion fandoms both started out the same way. One song, and then I remember it, saw it on MTV, and then rediscovered it 20, 30 years later. So that's where we're at now with the Scorps. That's the nickname that everybody, all the fans, call them, the Scorps. So I listened to the song Window Change on the YouTube video a few times, and then I did the same thing with Firehouse, as I mentioned in my previous video about them. Was that now I went from one song to, and Striper as well. This is what I do as a fan. One song will pique my curiosity about the band. If I really like it, then I move on to the first album, usually a compilation. If I don't know any other songs from the band, that's what I do. So with Scorpions, I went to iTunes, and the only compilation that they had for sale was titled Bad for Good, subtitled The Very Best of the Scorpions. It was released in 2020, I'm looking at my notes, 2022. No, 2002. I apologize. So, all right, and it had window. I looked to make sure it had Window Change in it, and there were some other songs I didn't know. Cool. As long as it has my favorite song, the one that made me want to buy the album, then I learn new songs after that. And then also the compilation gives me a place to go to find the other full albums the songs came from. So, by the time I became a Scorpions fan, I kind of marked that as when I do that, when I buy a full album, go from one song to a full album, I consider myself now a fan. The starting of a fan. So, as my interest and familiarity in the music and the other albums in the catalog increase, I know that they've got me. So at the start of my Scorpions fandom in June 20, I need to put my reading glasses on for this. June 2023. And I was talking about Bad for Good in 2002. Yeah, okay. When I became a fan in June 2023, the first thing I pledged to myself was, if I'm going to do this, there's going to be no fan clubs. I'm not going to belong to a fan club. I'm not going to belong to fan groups. And, hold on, wait a minute. Driving distance glasses are not cutting it. Put them in the case. And then, reading glasses. Lesebrille, as we say in German. Lesebrille. Sehr good. Feel better. Much better. Okay, now I can see. And my handwriting is really big, you would think. I usually use the reading glasses for small print on computer screens. But even when I write this big, it's still getting old as hell. Don't do it if you can avoid it. Anyway. Woo, I can... Wait a minute. Water. As you know from my previous videos, I have no way of doing fancy post-production editing right now. I want to learn it eventually, but right now, we're just talking in my Wohnzimmer, my living room. I'm drinking water. This is the me that you would see and hear and interact with if we were visiting in my Wohnung, my apartment. German lessons later. For now. Good. No fan clubs, and look at my notes. No fan clubs, no fan groups. Just Scorp's official social media and their website. the-scorpions.com. If I could edit this in post, I would put the thing on the bottom of the screen, but I can't, so. And at the time, I quickly identify, as a new fan, what this official social media's website first. I look for the blue check mark fan page only. I only go by that. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Um, I had a Twitter account with Firehouse, actually just before Firehouse, but I quickly got off of it. And then, as I said in the Firehouse video in this series, I went strictly onto Facebook and a CJ Snare story. Anyway, so with Scorpions, it was just Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And then eventually Instagram went bye-bye as well, because Instagram, like Twitter, has way too many limitations. So Facebook is where I shine. It's my main online hang. So now I got myself established on Facebook, on the official Scorpions Facebook page. I started posting regularly on the Scorps Facebook. I did do Instagram posts in tandem with Facebook, but then eventually, like I said, Instagram, I just decided to cut that out and go on Facebook. And then I also started doing my Scorpions homework on the-scorpions.com, official website, and I watched YouTube videos about them from the 80s and 90s, early to mid 2000s, all the eras that I'd missed. And before and after that one song, Wind of Change and Rock You Like a Hurricane. And then come to find out from their official website, I did not know this, they actually started, they were not an 80s one-hit wonder. Oh no, they're still touring and on their 60th anniversary tour this year as we speak. No, they were formed in Hanover, Germany, 1965. Oh yeah. Lead guitar player Rudolf Schenker. He was the boss of the band, the founding member, lead guitar player. As we say in German, der Boss oder der Chef. Okay. Hold on to the German lessons. I'll be back to that in just a minute. Anyway, so that's not what we're talking about right now. Show Facebook photo. Where are my notes? Show Facebook photo. Okay. So, remember I was referencing my Firehouse video on this YouTube series? Well, and I mentioned that I talked about being online buddies with CJ Snare from Firehouse. So the other thing that I do when I did this with CJ as well, and Firehouse's social media, I go through the gallery of photos and I just start cruising and look at the thumbnails and just at random, anything that catches my attention, I look at it, I comment, leave notes, whatever. Same thing with Scorps. Now this is a printout from, the post was on July 9th, 2022. So this is the post, these are the conversations that happened in real time on that day. And it shows lead singer from the Scorpions, Klaus Meine, with Alice Cooper. They're backstage at a concert. I don't know whose concert it was. Doesn't really matter. The point is this is the photo. And that's not what caught my eye at first. Yeah, it's funny, but then I saw, this is the part that, the videos, I gotta coordinate because I'm kind of backwards here with this. You see who's posting, wait a minute, get this straightened out here. You see who's posting where that red arrow is? CJ Snare. Blue checkmark page. I filtered out where it says all comments. You can do all comments, most relevant, most recent, whatever. I always filter it out to all comments so I don't miss anything. CJ Snare, two of my favorites. That's my buddy CJ. Hello, CJ. And so then somebody replied to him, CJ Snare, two of mine too, and the third wrote this comment. So he's a Firehouse fan. Then I put these arrows and emojis in Photoshop, so and I put them in my scrapbook, my virtual scrapbook. There's me, there's my reply, CJ Snare. Wait a minute, damn. I'm gonna get my chops together on this thing eventually. CJ Snare, well hello there, stranger. Small world, huh? I was just cruising this gallery for the first time, posting comments, a new Scorps fan, and here you are, what a great surprise. And then, a series of flame emojis. Well, that's me, that's CJ. So, hello CJ. Now he and I were in the height of our backstage, no, that's never gonna happen. Our Facebook Messenger chatting back and forth. So this was quite the exciting find. So after that, that led to, let me flip my notes over here. You guys should be glad I have notes. Otherwise, in real life, when I wing it and I fly by the seat of my pants, you could conceivably be up all night talking to me. I'm a talker. I love chatting. Not typing on the computer, talking. Look me in the eye. Love that shit, but don't get enough of it. Okay. So then I went into, after this post, and these are screenshots from two things I posted to CJ in our private chat together. Nothing personal or intimate, but okay, but it's relevant to the story that I'm telling right now. This is July 12th, 2023. So this was a couple days, 4 days after this. I came back in our private chat with CJ. See, that's his this was his Instagram profile photo. For some reason back then, if I conducted a private chat, it was really actually, and then it was on his Instagram page, Snareco1, but it showed up on my Facebook. I don't know why. That's how I always kind of tell that this one. Anyway, so now I'm writing to him. I'm just going to read this without holding it up to the camera. I just did the screenshot of that page, and then there's another one back here. I'll just read it. Man, oh man, CJ, my vocal cords are like sandpaper right now. LOL. Mild case of laryngitis from relentlessly practicing my latest favorite Scorpion song, Still Loving You, with the studio track from 1984. I'm having fun, but I'm definitely paying for it. And it's got a emoticon wearing sunglasses. Next frame. I've had just enough voice lessons to be a dangerous novice singer, so I think I know what my problem is. I think. In bold. I need to be alternating between head voice and chest voice. Is that what Klaus does in this song? Here's the track. And I put a YouTube link to the song, to the video of the same song I was practicing, so he could listen to it. And I didn't print out if he had a response or not. It would be in my Messenger archives, but so I had to point that out because that's CJ was kind of and then after that I kept him up to date on my Scorpions, some of my Scorpions shenanigans, if we want to call it that. Nothing really bad. I'm a good girl, really I am. Yeah. Now, remember I was giving you a few German lessons a minute ago? Well, this is how this started. July 2023, a month later, around the time that we did these chats, when I was cruising through the gallery on Scorpion's Facebook page, I found a snapshot as a Throwback Thursday post, a German fan magazine article on the Scorpions. It was Bravo magazine, and the article was entirely in German, and it was featuring the Bravo magazine article interview had happened in 1983 or 84. And it had the picture in the margin of Klaus on stage, making a stage face and holding a microphone, and then in big red letters, I should have printed that out and shown it to you, but that's okay. And then in big red block letters at the top, it said, Die Stimme. That's the title, The Voice in German. And the subtitle in German translates to How Scorpions Made Klaus a Millionaire. Klaus Meine a millionaire. And then it had a couple photos of him at home. And then the text of the interview was talking about anyway. So it was entirely in German. And the thumbnail was this small on the screen on Facebook. So for some reason I said, well, I didn't speak German at the time, weren't more than 2 or 3 words. I pulled that thumbnail photo, off of Facebook and opened it up in Photoshop. Adobe Photoshop, so I could zoom in on it. preferably, hopefully being able to read the text, the little tiny fine print in the body of the article. Nope, it was blurry, but just legible enough, just a little bit, enough that I could say, what am I doing? This is crazy. I don't speak German. What am I doing with this? But then I gave up on that. I saved the article in I have a virtual folder on my MacBook for Scorpions and Facebook and Scorpions, Striper, Firehouse, Duran Duran, REO Speedwagon, all my bands that I've been fans of. But after that, then I started finding YouTube videos of the Scorps, interviews where they spoke German. And they were promoting other merchandise or other press events. And it began to occur to me at that point that my inability to speak German or know even just a little bit of German is going to be holding me back as a fan. It's going to be interfering with my ability to I could get more out of being a fan. This language barrier is going to become a real problem. So how did I fix this problem? I decided I needed to start learning German immediately so that I could indulge my, what's the metaphor I always use? Fly my fan flag high and proud. That's a mouthful. You know what I'm saying. Get crazy. Which is what I do as a fan. But this is the first German band that I've ever been a fan of. Everybody I've ever been a fan of speaks English. Oh, and by the way, back in '84 with Rock You Like a Hurricane video, I knew they were German from MTV. That's about it. I don't remember watching any MTV news updates about them or anything like that. I was into Duran Duran at the time. Shh. Scorpions band members are going, what? Well, I'm with them now, so what the hell? Who cares? Anyway, so I got to start learning German. So I started with Duolingo. It's a language learning application. They do how many different languages? A lot. German's one of them. I looked at a bunch of different ones and decided that this is the best one. Out of all the free ones, it had to be free. I can't afford to dump any money into this thing. But it was a free platform, and I looked at either Babbel and Duolingo, the last two that I did comparison shop with. I went with Duolingo because it was free. So I got a German to English verb book and a dictionary. And then I went to YouTube and I found a series I started looking for German language tutoring or learning. And through that I found my first few German YouTubers. And they don't always have teaching academies running congruent with their YouTube channel, but some are just talking heads and they speak on different topics. But Philly from Germany, she's from Munich, Germany, was the very first one I found. Laura Bennett runs German with Laura. She has by teaching academies, I mean paid teaching programs like Rosetta Stone or Babbel or whatever. But they advertise it, promote it on YouTube, and it's usually all virtual. They don't have in-person classes. German with Laura Bennett, she was from the U.S. And Learn German with Anya. She's a gal from Saxony, Germany. And I've since discovered, and that became my routine between Duolingo and YouTube. And, YouTube has reels from people, you watch their videos. So I very easily found a whole shitload of German language learning content on YouTube. And I still learn from that to this day. Never had one formal lesson in my life. I think I need them sometimes. Anyway, so that's what I did, and I kept doing I quickly established my routine, my private Deutsch learner, German student, program at home while I'm doing my Scorpion stuff. And very quickly I realized I made the right decision. I'm really glad I did this. Then I started finding those same interviews that I found before I started learning German And I don't understand what they're saying. I want to hear, but now I can practice. Now it's something I can listen. Ooh, what are they saying? Let's listen and see how much I've actually learned. I still do that to this day. And by the way, the Scorpions are the only German music group I'm a fan of. I know there are others. Let's not mention the R word. You know who they are. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to give them free publicity. They and the Scorpions are the top tier, longest standing. We're not going to mention them though. Shh, no. I've heard their music. Don't care to hear it. Nope, don't need it. Anywho, so now in my notes, getting close to the end of my notes here. January 2024. While I'm on Scorpion's Facebook page doing my thing, I wait until I don't hop on the post right when it's done to comment. I wait a little while. So by the time I came up to the post to leave my comment, every time there was always a fan, right? The last fan that posted before I did was a person named Susie Q. S-U-E, capital C-Q-U-E. Like Peggy Sue, Susie Q. And her posting style is very distinctive. She posted with emojis scattered throughout the paragraph. Usually wrote about a paragraph apiece, every comment. And, her writing style was very consistent and all that. And I just chalked her up as kind of a rabid fangirl. And remember what I said earlier at the beginning of this video? I don't want to be involved with fans. No how, no way. I'd already been burned by too many fans with too many other band situations. So, nope. I want to have no part of her and whatever she's doing. But she was always there. I politely went about my business and I didn't bother her. Didn't say anything to her. I just did my thing and went on. And then another major turning point in my journey as a new Scorpions fan. On January 17th, on Scorpions' Facebook page, they had done a post promoting their Rock Believer album. There was a tour stop they were doing in France. And the post had the album, the gig poster for that show, the Rock Believer cover, whatever it looked like at the time, and it said the tour stop was coming up, so they were promoting it. And some other fans had started a discussion about, why doesn't the band, I'm doing this part from memory, why does the band not play My Town, this, there, that? Fans kind of whine about, they don't play My Town enough, that they don't like us. And I've actually heard that before. So I was sick of hearing that, so I just stepped in and wrote a post, and I don't have a printout of it now, but I'll just sum up, and I just said, trying to explain to them the difference about contracts that bands sign with venues, and it's a business arrangement, and they go where it's the most profitable, and the band does not choose the itinerary, the booking agent and the management do, and blah, blah, blah. I laid it all out for them from a business standpoint. And guess who commented back to me, replied to that comment? Miss Susie Q. The fangirl, the rabid, diehard fangirl that I had no interest in being friends with or even acknowledging that she existed. She came back and replied to me. I knew who she was. I'm flipping the page of my notes, and her comment in response to mine, thank you, Kim, thank you, thumbs up, and I've been saying the same thing for years, and nobody understands, they don't believe me, da, da, da. And like I said, the thread is too long to print out, but I did make a movie of it. I aimed my cell phone at my screen of my MacBook. I got into that post on Facebook, and I just scrolled up the page in live time. So I have a record of that. But January 17th, that was the post. All this happened on. If you want to go back and look at it, you can. January 17th, 2024. So based on Miss Susie Q's response to me, I knew immediately, oh yeah, we speak the same backstage language. Now the only thing, now all this time I believed that she was a fangirl and nothing else. And she's, wow, she's a little over the top as a fan. That's okay. It doesn't matter how charismatic these fans are. I don't want to have any part of anybody. Nope. Not going to be friends with anybody. I'm just going to mind my business and stay to myself and be that. And that's going to be the end of it. Learn my German and shut up about it. Till that post, and then, ooh, she knows something. She knows. What does she know? How did she learn it? Questions started to come into my mind that I had no answers for. This is where I got the ball rolling. Rather than sit back and wonder and, ooh, what does she know? I couldn't ignore it, so I sent her a private Facebook message. This was in January, mind you. And asking her, I said, I just saw your response to me on the Scorpions Facebook page for January 17th. And number one, you're welcome. I'm glad you liked my comment. Can we hop on a quick video call together? I want to ask you some questions. Flipping your page in the notes. She wrote back right there. She said she couldn't talk with me on video call. I didn't want to text anymore. Because of my history with fans, I don't trust them any farther than I can throw them. I wanted to look her in the eye while I'm talking to her. What's Susie Q short for? Why is that screen named that way? I wanted to find out more about her. But she said she couldn't speak with me at that time because she had been ill. She didn't really have a voice and she was recuperating, maybe allergies or something. But she said she'd get in touch with me later on after she felt better. I said, okay, cool, that's fine. Let me know, I'm here. Clicked out of it. Yeah, right. I'm thinking, sure she is. If I had a nickel for every fan I've had that made me empty promises about something, I'd be a millionaire too. Like Klaus Miner from that Bravo article. It's a really neat article. I translated it into English. Never mind. Yeah, right. I'll bet she will. I just wrote her off. Okay. I tried. That's all I can do. As long as I made the effort, extended the olive branch, I was satisfied and I went on with my life. I was a busy fan at that point. Learning about the band, learning German at the same time. Still doing it to this day. Nothing's changed. Until next page of the notes, last page of my notes. She did get back to me a month later in February. Facebook Messenger. Hi, this is Susie Q, and I promised I'd get back to you, and here I am. I'm like, she did not rock me like a hurricane. Duh! I couldn't let that lyric reference slide. I just came out of my mouth. I'm sorry. She did rock me like a hurricane, actually. Not right then and there, but my notes say we've been in constant contact ever since, and we have been. My last interaction with her was just last night. And multiple times, we text multiple times a day, voice messages, and my video call that I wanted in the first place, we've had a million of them. And they've lasted a lot longer than 5 minutes, let's put it that way. Luckily, Facebook Messenger is free of charge. That's why neither one of us have gotten on the telephone with one another, because neither one of us can afford the phone bill. So Facebook Messenger is free, and thank God, because we have made really good use of it. And we are besties, and she's always, I'm not bragging or anything, but we are best fan friends, girlfriends, and yeah, so. And I have not had a person that like that in my life as a friend since my friend Hope Smith from REO Speedwagon in 1981. And then my roommate with REO in 1995, so it's been very infrequently that I've made friends with just one fan that I'm besties with. So she showed up in my life as a Scorpions fan unexpectedly, but I am very blessed to have her. And it didn't take long of us chatting so regularly. She kind of wore me out at first when we first started chatting, because I never had a fan be that consistent with me and keep their promises. And let's just say I was kind of lonely and isolated and depressed at that time, but she cured me of that real quick. So, okay, that is the end of my notes. So now you know where I'm at. And hold on, let me adjust myself in the desk chair. Ugh, got a better desk chair. Okay. So that's the end of my formal notes. So now I'm gonna, wait a minute, put those down. There's the show and tell. We're gonna put that away too. And now I'm just gonna talk for a few minutes. This is, like I said, this is my last installment of My Life as a Rock Fan series. From now on, I'll be just doing freestyle talking head videos on different topics related to music, touring, bands, fans, everything in between. But for a follow-up, last little follow-up on Scorpions, haven't been to a concert yet. I just see concerts on YouTube like everybody else. And haven't met them yet either, obviously. So those are a couple things on my wish list, my bucket list, if you will. But kind of the fate has to intervene in my favor at this point. So, yep. But again, I'm only friends with Susie Q. It's just me and her. That's all I really need. She has more interactions with other fans than I do. So, like, okay, I got you. I'm happy. So it's just me and her. Fans, just bad girls running wild. See what I did there? Yep. See, I don't write notes. Now I'm lost. But okay. I'll think of it once I stop the video and post it on YouTube. I'll talk about them, I'm sure, later on. But that's where I'm at right now, and doing my thing on Facebook and talking back and forth with Miss Susie Q. And well, I did find out what her real name was, but I'm not at liberty to say it. Private business. Anyway, but I will say this much, that that's what I was going to say. Yeah, that in all the other fandoms that I've been a part of since REO Speedwagon in the mid to late 90s and early 2000s, every band I've been involved with, progressively, I feel like now have been leading me to the Scorpions. So I feel like now this is kind of where I was meant to be. I've arrived. This is my home as a fan. And I don't have to worry about anything else. No fans are hassling me anymore. They hadn't really been bothering me since a little bit toward the end of my Striper time. The Striper. Firehouse, it was me and CJ, so that was practice for Susie Q, my buddy. Learned how to do the marathon Facebook Messenger chatting. So, and all the experiences that I've had with all these other bands combined, as I was involved with each fandom, I learned something different, met different people. And now with Scorpions, I just started out as a fan. Nobody's paying attention to me. Nobody cares what I'm doing. That's very liberating. And I didn't think I'd ever have that because I was so used to getting bombarded and overwhelmed and damaged, traumatized even. Yes, I do consider myself as having post-traumatic stress from all these other fan experiences that I've had, and most of them have been not so nice. And then the good band stuff that's happened, I have a hard time really claiming that as a result, but that's my burden to bear, so I'll deal with that on my own time, my own way. But the Scorpions, I finally have the best of all possible worlds. You can just be a fan and enjoy the music. All I need is one bestie fan buddy, Susie Q. I'm going to tell her about this video, and I don't know if she'll watch it or not, but it's okay because we're good. So one bestie fan buddy, me and the music on iTunes. And that's it. I don't belong to any fan groups. I did belong to one of her, Susie Q's fan groups, Scorpions Addicts Anonymous, but I got out of it. I told her I just can't. I told her, she knows about my history with other bands, and she knows my resume. Finally, someone that speaks my backstage language. That is such a relief. You guys have no idea. No idea whatsoever. Band members would know. Band members would get it. When you've been a band that's been around as long as Firehouse and Stryper and REO and Scorps, they would know. And time will tell what'll happen with the Scorps, but I'm a regular presence on Facebook. They would, I don't know if they remember who I am if they met me. I follow my same routine with every band. And it's been 2 years now, and this one's going very, very well. I have no complaints. Happiest I've ever been. Happiest I've ever been. The only thing that kind of haunts me is CJ Snare died after about the same amount of time as I was a Firehouse fan, and I chats with him, and he died. So I don't know where that's gonna go, but I try not to let it bum me out too much as a Scorpions fan, because right now the boys are all alive and well, and they're 60 years in. They're celebrating their 60-year anniversary tour this year. They had the 50 and the 40, and they've celebrated the major milestones all this time. So that's all I wanted to say. Sehr gut. Es ist sehr gut. Ich bin sehr glücklich. Sehr glücklich. Okay. I have my Rock Believer Dreams, Rock Believer being their newest album. I have my Rock Believer Dreams. Nobody's managed to fuck up. and in fact, being a Scorpions fan has helped restore a lot of my Rock Believer Dreams that I've had since I was a fan of REO in the early 80s. So I've had a lot of damage and a lot of trauma, but then I've also had a lot of healing too. My involvement with Rush fans, as I talked about in another video, started that process, and it's kind of feel like it's culminating now with Scorpions. So I still, with all that being said, I still don't want to be online as a fan with other fans, not in the way necessarily, but you just want to go backstage and be a fan with the band, you know. I lived it once. Don't know if it'll ever happen again, but I can now dream about it again. And now everything that was once impossible, or the dream felt like it had been taken from me, I feel like it's back again. I'm a little scared about that, but I'm adjusting to it. I'm letting my guard down a little more each day, and I'm opening up my heart to it and trusting the process. Bleib ruhig und atmen. Stay calm and breathe. I have that poster on my wall over there. Well, over there. Kitchen. I'm backwards. I made a poster for my wall above my desk where I do all my German learning stuff. Next to my wall map of Germany. Bleib ruhig und atmen. Stay calm and breathe. That's a good affirmation. I refer to it often. So, that's it for, let me check the runtime as I always do. 43 minutes. Perfect. Perfect. That's what we say in German. Doesn't spell P-E-R-F-E-K-T. That's what I like about German. A lot of the words, if you're a native English speaker and German is your second language, you have a great advantage. And I'll talk about that more. Might do another video about my German learning journey by itself. I just had to set the framework for how it started. So, okay. Let me go upload this and do my thumbnail photo and get it going and keep planning the next video. So I'm in this to win this. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to keep sharing my thoughts, and I hope you guys, thank you guys for joining me on this journey. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And again, leave a note for me in the comments below. Yep. See you guys next time. Auf Wiedersehen.